Hello everyone, this is Troy Harper here at Harper Cigar Lounge. I'm so glad to be back with you guys again to do one of my regular podcasts. Maybe some of you guys have caught my Dropping the Ash podcast that I recently started up. I've got 4 of them out now, and you can catch those on YouTube at the Harper Cigar Lounge page on YouTube or channel, and or you can catch it on Facebook at the Harper Cigar Lounge group page. But anyway, I been really anxious to get back to doing my original podcast under Harper Cigar Lounge, and tonight this is episode 17 now of season 2, and it's St. Patrick's Day Eve, and so I'm really glad to be back doing my regular podcast involving hard rock, heavy metal, and of course premium cigars. So anyway, I'm really excited to get back to doing this podcast, so I'm glad to be here, and I've got some really great stuff today or tonight to discuss and go over with you guys. And hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's been kind of a rough weekend for me. My mom's been in the hospital dealing with some heart issues. She'll end up having to have some surgery here within maybe the next couple days or so. So keep her in your prayers. And so anyway, so I'm going to dedicate this podcast to my mom. So Mom, love you, and you're in my prayers. And of course, you're in my thoughts all the time. And please continue to heal and recover. And I know you're going to get through this. You're tough, and I know you're going to get through this and be okay. And I know you're going to be around a long time. So anyway, Mom, this show is for you tonight. So I dedicate this to you. So anyway, but to all of you out there, hello, welcome. I'm glad I could be back with you. Like I said, thanks for being here. Hope you've got a good drink and a good maybe a good Irish drink of some sort. This will be this podcast will kind of we'll do some celebrating definitely for St. Patrick's Day coming up. Anyway, so I hope you guys got a good smoke, a good drink. I hope you guys can kick back a little bit and relax and hang out and be a part of this tonight. So welcome, and thank you for allowing me to be here with you guys. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here, and this is all for you guys, what I do. So, and of course, I'm not making any money on this. No one's sponsoring me. I'm doing this just because I love being with you guys, and I love discussing hard rock, heavy metal, and love discussing cigars and being a part of the cigar community, as well as being a part of the hard rock, heavy metal community. And so anyway, but I got some great stuff tonight. I think you'll enjoy this show tonight. I'm gonna try to get in another Harper Cigar Lounge podcast this month, and then I'm going to try to get in at least one more in April and maybe one in May possibly, and then I'll probably end this one. Hopefully I'll do one more in May, or maybe a couple more in May, and then after May definitely I'll probably end this for the summer and start up on start up on season 3 next probably September of 2000 this upcoming September. So we'll see how everything goes, but throughout the summer and from here on I will continue doing the Dropping the Ash podcast probably often throughout the spring and summer, and and that's one that will never stop. That'll continue on. As far as I'm concerned, as long as you guys want me to keep doing it and you show your interest, I'll keep doing it, and that'll never probably stop. But they're shorter videos, and they're just based on cigar content and nothing else. And so those are going to probably continue to remain around 30 to 40 minutes each, and I'll probably do those often, like I said. So. But for these longer podcasts, with this Harper Cigar Lounge podcast, that have been running around 2 hours or a little more. Again, like I said, probably May will probably be my last for season 2, and then we'll start up on season 3, like I said, this upcoming September. So, but anyway, enjoy tonight, and I hope you can have some fun tonight with me and enjoy this and relax. And again, I hope you got a great smoke of your own and a great drink. And thanks again for being here. And hello to all of you Harper Cigar Lounge members out there. And I'm glad to have all of you here. And I'll be doing some shout outs and everything here towards the end. So anyway, I appreciate you guys being here again, and I hope you guys will enjoy this tonight. So, but what I'm going to smoke, I'm going to smoke a very special St. Patrick's cigar tonight, and this is called the Filthy Hooligan by Alec Bradley, and I think this is going to be a great cigar to smoke. I have not had this cigar yet. I've had this in my humidor for a year. I picked this up around last St. Patrick's Day of last year, and I have not had this one yet. And again, this is called the Filthy Hooligan Black Market from Alec Bradley. And this cigar is a 6x50 Toro. The wrapper is Candela, Nicaraguan Habano Oscuro. The binder is Ecuador Sumatra. And the filler is Honduras Panama. Strength is mild to medium. And the smoking time is around 60 to 90 minutes. And the country of origin is Honduras. Taste notes, exotic flavors of, exotic profile flavors of earth, tea, green tea, I guess, leather, vanilla, and bright sweetness. And I'm not sure what that means exactly. So we'll find out, hopefully, when I get into this cigar. And then the one I smoked last St. Patrick's Day, if you guys remember, if you were a part of my podcast around last St. Patrick's Day. If I said Thanksgiving, I apologize. I meant St. Patrick's Day. So this is what I smoked last year, and this is the Filthy Hooligan Shamrock by Alec Bradley. It's got a triple barber pole wrapper, or this one's just got a double barber pole wrapper that I'm smoking tonight. So this one here, somewhat similar to this one. So the Filthy Hooligan Shamrock that I smoked last year, if you're interested in trying this, this is also a 6x50 Toro. Again, a triple wrapper barber pole. And the wrappers Candela, Nicaragua, Oscuro Habano, Nicaraguan, shade-grown Habano, Calero, and the binders Ecuador Sumatra, filler Honduras Panama. Strength is mild to medium as well. Smoking time same, 60 to 90 minutes. And again, country of origin of this one as well is Honduras. And taste notes in this is earth, cedar, spice, pepper, natural sweetness. So that's what I smoked last St. Patrick's Day of last year. And this is what I'll be smoking tonight. So anyway, and again, this is the Black Market Filthy Hooligan by Alec Bradley. And just a beautiful, beautiful stick. I can't wait to try this. It's going to be great, I have a feeling. So anyway, so we'll get into that here. And so anyway, again, like I said, this is episode 17 of season 2. Glad to be here, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. And hope you guys will enjoy tonight. Not sure what you guys are drinking out there, but in the comments, let me know what you've been drinking for St. Patrick's Day or over St. Patrick's Day weekend. Tonight I'm going to drink this Guinness cold brew coffee, nitro cold brew coffee from Guinness. It's got the just the dark, very kind of extra dark beer along with cold brew coffee. So I had this last year during St. Patrick's Day when I did my podcast for St. Patrick's Day last year. It was very good, and so I've been anxious to drink another one of these. So cheers to you guys, and cheers to you guys. Let me get this cut and toasted up, and I'll get into some heavy metal birthdays, and then I'll get into some heavy metal news, and then I'll get into tonight. What I'll be discussing is all the albums that have changed my life for the better, and albums and everything that got me more into the hard rock heavy metal world, I guess you could say. Just albums that have really changed my life and have given me some great memories during times of my life that were maybe kind of rough and not going very good, maybe, but just and then I'll show you the album that got me into everything in the beginning. So anyway, so I'll get into that a little bit, and I'll probably have a story or two to go along with some of that. So anyway, but let me get into this, and then like in the end of all this, I'll give out some shout outs and everything too. So anyway, guys, again, The Filthy Hooligan by Alec Bradley, Black Market Filthy Hooligan, actually. So anyway, I don't know if you guys got some music on in the background, some hard rock heavy metal maybe in the background somewhere, but tonight I've got just I've got a lot of the older 80s metal groups, hair metal bands, if you want to call it that. A lot of the hair metal bands that they call from the 80s, I don't really consider a lot of them hair metal. I think a lot of them are just great heavy metal bands, hard rock heavy metal bands. So anyway, but never have been excited about the term hair metal. I base a band on how they sound, not how they really look, I guess. So anyway, but getting a taste of the wrapper, and definitely has some spice to it. Maybe some kind of red pepper spice on that wrapper. So that's really what I'm getting out of it on that wrapper. So let me give this a cut. Okay, so tonight I'm getting a V cut, or I'm doing a V cut tonight on the cap, and then I'm using my Zyphe lighter cutter cigar rest combo, cigar rest on the back if I choose to use that, but that's how it looks on there. But anyway, so triple torch flame. This one's a gunmetal, and just a very sturdy lighter cutter combo. And my wife got me this on Amazon for about $45. And so anyway, I've talked about this lighter a lot and this cutter. Just a great lighter cutter combo. It's very sturdy. It's been very reliable, and I've never had a problem with this at all. The cutter's still cutting great. The lighter's still working great. I've had this probably for about 6 months now, I'm guessing approximately. My wife, I think, like I said, she paid about $40 to $45 for this. But just a great lighter cutter combo, and Zyphe is the name of it. So if you're looking for a great cutter lighter combo and you don't mind the V cut, this is a great thing to have with you. So anyway, I did a V cut, like I said. On the cold draw, wow. Getting some kind of floral, green tea, definitely kind of flavor notes out of the cold draw. And the cold draw is very, well, it's actually pretty perfect. It's not too loose or too tight. It's really, really good. So yeah, I can't believe how good that cold draw is. So anyway, let me give this a toast here, and I don't want to scorch it. I just want to get it toasted nicely, get all those layers of tobacco in there kind of heated up a little bit, and then once I have gotten this toasted the way I want to, I'll give it a final light. But I kind of rotate my cigar while I'm lighting it, and I'm not getting my flame right up in my cigar, as you can see. I'm keeping the flame away from it as much as I can. I don't want to scorch it and then get a bunch of burnt flavor out of this. I just want to get the natural flavors out of it. So I don't want to overdo it on the toasting here. But I like to take my time with it and get it done correctly so I have a better smoking experience, definitely. But I'll toast this until it's all glowing orange for the most part. And I think it's ready. I'm going to go ahead and give it a final light. But anyway, it looks like it's ready. I got it evenly glowing orange, and that tells me that's all been toasted evenly. So anyway, hopefully this will do good tonight for us. I've seen a lot of really high ratings on this. But anyway, so a little bit of an uneven burn right at the moment, but hopefully they'll straighten out. And hopefully this will taste great with my Guinness beer tonight. But happy St. Patrick's Day weekend to you guys, and have a great great St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. And I hope you guys will have a great St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully you won't have to work too hard. If you're off, hopefully you can relax and have a cigar and hang out with family and friends and everything. But I'll be working myself, and not sure if I'll get to really celebrate St. Patrick's Day too much tomorrow. So I've been pretty much with my mom all weekend, and tonight I guess is the night that I'll be celebrating my St. Patrick's Day, and with you all, of course. So I'm glad to be here again to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, even though I'm doing it the evening before, but it's worth it, I guess. So definitely worth being here with you guys, and I hope you guys will enjoy this podcast tonight, and hopefully it'll give you some good memories, and maybe this podcast will bring back some great memories for you when you were younger with some of the music I discuss. So anyway, and like I said in the background, hopefully it's not too loud, but I've got it on YouTube. I'm just listening to a lot of the older 80s groups right now, Rat, Dokken, hopefully Poison will come up, Queensryche, different bands like that. So anyway, let me get into some heavy metal birthdays. Roger Daltrey, lead singer for The Who, born on March 1st, 1944. He's at the age of 80. So happy belated birthday, Roger Daltrey. And John Bon Jovi, lead singer-songwriter of Bon Jovi. He was born on March 2nd, 1962. He's at the age of 62. Tobias Forge, lead singer of Ghost, born on March 3rd, 1981. He's at the age of 43. Jason Newsted, ex-bassist for Metallica and ex-bassist for his band Newsted. And then he's got a band called Chop House Band. So he was born on March 4th, 1963. He's at the age of 61. John Frusciante, guitarist for Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name right. Born on March 5th, 1970. He's at the age of 54. Tom Scholz, guitarist, songwriter, vocals, founding member of Boston. Guitars as well, if I didn't mention that, and vocals, songwriter for Boston. Born on March 10th, 1947. He's at the age of 76. And then Rick Rubin, producer of Columbia, Def Jam Records. born on March 10th, 1963. He's at the age of 61. And then Vinnie Paul, drummer of Pantera and Hell Yeah. He was born on March 11th, 1964. He died on June 22nd, 2018 of a heart attack. He was at the age of 54, and he passed away in Las Vegas, Nevada. He would be 60 years old if he was alive today. So anyway, Vinnie Paul, rest in peace. You're missed very much, and thank you for all you contributed to Pantera. Yeah, God bless you. I tell you, I know you're. Hopefully you're resting peacefully out there in heaven, and I hope to see you one day and get to meet you in the next life. So, but again, thank you, Vinnie Paul, for what you contributed to Pantera. I know I can speak for everybody, but you're missed every day, and we miss your drumming and what you contributed to Pantera. So, David Draymond, singer-songwriter of Disturbed. He was born on March 13th, 1973. He's at the age of 51. Let's see here. So actually, I apologize. Let's see here. Steve Harris. I'm sorry. Let's see. Rick Rubin. So Rick Rubin was born on the 10th. And then Vinnie Paul was born on the... he was born... See, today's the 10th. Today's the 11th. So, yeah, so today would have been Vinnie Paul's birthday. And then Rick Rubin would have been yesterday. So I've got my times confused a little bit, so sorry, guys. And then Steve Harris will be born... Let's see, Steve Harris, bassist, songwriter for Iron Maiden. He was born on March 12th, 1956, so he'll be age of 68 coming up on Tuesday. And then, let's see here, David Draymond, like I said, singer-songwriter of Disturbed, born on March 13th, 1973, so he'll be age 51 on Wednesday. Let's see here, and then Dee Snider, singer-songwriter of Twisted Sister, born on March 15th, 1955. He'll be age 70 coming up here next week, or this upcoming week. Bret Michaels, lead singer, guitarist, songwriter for Poison, born on March 15th as well, 1963 though. And he'll be age 61. I think, we'll see. Oh gosh, so what would that be? Friday, I think, is the 15th. And then Nancy Wilson, vocals, guitarist, songwriter for Heart, born on March 16th, 1954. She'll be at the age of 70. And I think that'd be this upcoming Saturday. And then last on my list for now is Wolfgang Van Halen, son of Eddie Van Halen. Rest in peace, Eddie. But Wolf Van Halen is the vocalist, bass, guitar, songwriter, Mammoth Wolf Van Halen, and guitars, if I didn't mention that. And he was born on March 16th, 1991. So he'll be 33, I think, on this next Sunday then. So those are your birthdays. So happy belated to you guys on your birthdays. And Vinnie Paul, if you were still alive, it'd be your birthday today. So happy heavenly birthday at least. And yeah, so anyway, Vinnie Paul, you're missed definitely. And gosh, I can't believe you've already been gone for 6 years. 6 years now. So yeah, it's hard to believe that you've been gone that long. So yeah, you're missed. And anyway, so happy birthday, Vinnie Paul. So happy heavenly birthday, Vinnie Paul. So anyway, those are your birthdays for you so far for March. And on my next podcast, I'm going to work on getting one more in this month. So with that next one, I'll discuss the rest of the birthdays for March. And if you're interested in seeing who else's birthdays are coming up, go to loudwire.com. You can check out all the other birthdays out there for this month of March. So check it out if you're interested. A lot of birthdays out there still to discuss. Some I haven't discussed because they really didn't pertain to hard rock, heavy metal, I didn't think. So went ahead and gave it a relight. It looked like it was kind of wanting to go out on me a little bit, so thought I would give it a relight to kind of keep it from burning out on me here. So hopefully that'll be the only relight I got to do on this. But so far, tastes really good, kind of peppery. Trying to see if I'm getting definitely some earth and leather, like it mentions. Not really getting the vanilla yet. And I got some sweetness, of course, in the cold draw, and it kind of had a green tea, which that's what it said the taste notes would be, as green tea. But I got that in the cold draw so far. Haven't gotten it in the regular smoke that I'm doing now. So anyway, we'll see if it comes up. But I'm getting kind of a little bit of a tingly sensation in my mouth, and it's kind of a cool sensation too. So that could be I don't know if that would be and it's kind of a sweet taste, I guess. So that could be the bright sweetness that they're discussing. And I got my information on cigarsdaily.com for the cigars, where I got the information. So, but definitely getting some of the leather, earth, and maybe some of the bright sweetness they're talking about. It's just kind of I'm getting a little bit of a cool sensation, almost a floral kind of a sensation. Almost kind of I don't know if I want to say kind of a minty kind of a taste note. But definitely a good cigar so far. And it's pairing well with this beer, this Guinness beer that's got the cold nitro, the coffee infused into it. So it's doing really well with this. So anyway, but right now, I just want to mention the construction's great. The wrapper is not real oily. It's silky, but it's really not too oily of a wrapper. But it feels good in my hand. The construction's great. Like I said, the ash is building up nicely right now. So I'm gonna probably, I've had to do one relight, as you noticed, but I'm gonna probably rate this right now, probably a 93. I'd have to say. It tastes very good, and I think it's just a very nice looking cigar. So anyway, we'll see how it continues to do. So anyway, let's get into some heavy metal news. Marty Friedman, ex-guitarist for Megadeth, made a statement with Guitar World magazine that the traditional guitar solos are dying a slow and painful death. Friedman says when he is soloing, he is replacing the vocalist, meaning I sing with my guitar. This statement was made on October of last year. And he's got a great point. You just don't hear the guitar solos like you used to back in the 70s, 80s. With a lot of the bands, you just don't see the guitar solos like you used to. So Marty Friedman sounds like he's trying to kind of make up for what other guitarists aren't doing out there by just really taking full advantage of his guitar solos and really trying to get it to speak to the audiences, and like a singer would. So anyway, so God bless you, Marty. Thank you for what you're doing to keep the traditional guitar solos going. Yeah, you just don't see it like you used to. Definitely, music's just not the hard rock, heavy metal. There's some really great stuff out there right now. A lot of great bands still going, but the newer bands out there, I don't see the solos the traditional solos like you would from the bands back in the 70s, 80s. So, Wolfgang Van Halen and family have donated 100,000 for schools in need of instruments through the national nonprofit organization called Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation. So anyway, I think that's great that they're helping schools in need that can't afford instruments for kids to learn instruments. So that's awesome. I'm so glad to see that. I think music's very important to continue to have in schools. I know there's some schools out there that have considered dismissing music because there's not enough interest in it, or there's not enough money there to provide the instruments they need for kids to have. So thank you, Wolfgang Van Halen and your family, for donating that $100,000 to schools that are in need of instruments. So I think that's great. Get a puff of the cigar. Keep that going here. Rick Emmett, the lead vocalist and guitarist for Triumph, has been battling prostate cancer, and he's completed some radiation treatments. He's 70 years old now. He says that the cancer is under control through medications. Also, he's battling some arthritis in his hand, but he's pushing himself to play more guitar to keep his hands exercised and to keep moving, so he doesn't completely lose his mobility in his hands, I guess you could say. So anyway, Rick, hang in there. You're in my prayers and thoughts, and I'm glad that you're getting through the prostate cancer situation, and I hope you continue to heal, and I hope you'll be around a long time. Triumph, the band Triumph is definitely missed, and I think one of the more underrated bands that came out of Canada, definitely. So anyway, and then next on my news reel here, Guns N' Roses Slash from Guns N' Roses will have a blues album out on May 17th on Gibson Records. The album will be called Orgy of the Damned, and it'll feature AC/DC's Brian Johnson, Iggy Pop, let's see here, Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes, Gary Clark Jr., Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, Dorothy, I'm not sure who that is, Bad Company, Paul Rogers from Bad Company, Demi Lovato, and country artist Chris Stapleton. Also, Steven Tyler will be playing harmonica on a song called The Killing Floor. That's going to be the first single off of this album. And The Killing Floor was originally, or just Killing Floor, was originally recorded by a group called Howling Wolf. And then Brian Johnson from AC/DC will be on the vocals of that song. And again, like I said, this will be the first track to be released. Killing Floor, Killing Floor is the name of the song. The band that's originally recorded it was called Howlin' Wolf. And again, Brian Johnson will be featured on the lead vocals of this, and Steven Tyler will be playing harmonica on this song. No release date, but it does say this will be the first track single off this album. The album's due out on Gibson Records on May 17th of this year, so we'll be looking forward to checking that out. So anyway, so far really enjoying the cigar. I'm getting a little more of the green tea floral notes now. Really good cigar. It's definitely a mild to medium strength. So this would definitely be a good cigar for a beginner smoker. And I got a little deal on YouTube now. That's awesome. Love deal. Rest in peace, brother. My Italian brother from another mother. So, anyway, but if you guys have had this cigar, make sure you let me know in the comments what your experience was with this, your taste note, the taste notes that you've gotten, just whatever you've experienced with this. Let us know. Daniel, back in Pittsburgh, I know you've had this. Let me know what you thought of this cigar, definitely, and all your experiences with it. So anyway, it's doing fairly well. A little bit of an uneven burn right now, but hopefully that'll fix itself here. But it's starting to build some good ash, and it's staying lit for me, and it's putting off a lot of great smoke. Definitely getting some floral, kind of floral type aromas in the air from this. So anyway, but I'm pretty happy with this overall. I'm still gonna keep this, I think, probably at a 93 rating right now. So we'll see how it continues to do. So anyway, more news here. Sebastian Bach, original vocalist for Skid Row, says it is a possibility that the original lineup could get back together with Sebastian Bach. Sebastian Bach says they should get back together while they all got their hair, and but he said it is a business thing, but he's hoping that maybe that they will get back together, and I don't know if they would do a reunion tour and do a new album, or if they would just go out there and play all the old music together. And so it's up in the air what's going to happen with this. There's no news or any more news of this being set in stone or that it's actually going to happen. But sounds like Sebastian Bach is really wanting to get the original guys all back together and do some shows, and so we'll see what happens. I think that'd be really exciting. I've always wanted to see Skid Row, and I've always wanted to see Sebastian Bach. I've never been able to do that, and but Sebastian Bach, and he's definitely one of my favorite singers, and I miss Skid Row. I love Skid Row, so it'd be great to see them back together, and hopefully if they do, they'll be in our area. So we'll see what happens in the future with that. So any news I hear, I'll keep you up to date on that. And then going back to Wolfgang Van Halen, that I discussed, him and his family discussed, or donating $100,000 to schools in need of instruments. He just recently reconnected with Michael and Anthony, the ex-bass guitarist for Van Halen. And I guess they had a really good visit and really good some good fellowship with each other, I guess you could say. And he's Wolfgang Van Halen said it was almost like having a family reunion. So that's great to hear. It's good to see, that there's no bad blood between Michael and Anthony and Wolfgang Van Halen. Glad to see they're reuniting with each other and catching up, I guess. So I'm glad that they're getting along and they're able to get together and catch up on things. So hopefully that might lead to something else down the road. I'd still love to see Van Halen get back together with David Lee Roth, and I love the fact that Sammy Hagar. I'm glad Sammy Hagar is out there, getting ready to go out there and do some shows with, doing some Van Halen material and keeping the spirit alive of Van Halen. And I know Michael and Anthony is going to be a part of that, of course. So anyway, so that's great to see. Anyway, so next news is Judas Priest Invincible Shield was released on March 8th, just a few days ago. The singles so far are Panic Attack, Crown of Thorns, and Trial by Fire off of that album, and it's on Epic Records. And 40 years ago, just for some history here, 50 years ago in 1974, Rock-A-Rolla was recorded. So Rock-A-Rolla, this is the 50th anniversary of Rock-A-Rolla, the first album they put out. And with the Invincible Shield album, they have released lyric videos for all 14 songs off the new album. So that's awesome. And the videos that they put out so far, the official videos, have been great too. But definitely anxious to get a hold of the new album. I'm looking for it. I'm hoping to get it soon. So anyway, but I'm really liking what I'm hearing so far off the new album, and I've got everything from Judas Priest so far, and I'll definitely be adding this new album to my collection. Every Judas Priest album I love. They're all different, and some not quite as good as others, but I really do like I pretty much like all the Judas Priest albums, some more than the others, but and then Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer for Iron Maiden. He has landed his first top 10 album in the UK with the Mandarin Project album that he just released. And then Keep Claus, let's see here. I'm trying to read my writing. Claus Mine of the Scorpions, the singer for Scorpions. He just went through some complex spinal surgery, so keep him in your prayers and thoughts. And so Claus, heal quickly. I know you guys got some shows coming up in Las Vegas. You got a residency there, so hopefully you'll be healed enough to be able to continue doing those shows. But anyway, so you're in my prayers, brother. Anyway, so that's it for heavy metal news. If you want to see what other news is out there concerning hard rock, heavy metal, go to blabbermouth.net. That's where I usually get all my updated information. So anyway, blabbermouth.net. And then again, for the heavy metal birthdays, I always go to loudwire.com to get all the updates on all the heavy metal, hard rock birthdays out there. So anyway, still getting just a slight uneven burn, but it's building some really great ash. And I'm supposed to be dropping my ashes on the other podcast called Dropping the Ash Podcast that you need to check out on YouTube and at Harper Cigar Lounge. Like, share, join my YouTube channel under Harper Cigar Lounge. Join my group page on Facebook under Harper Cigar Lounge, where you can find these podcasts as well as the Dropping the Ash podcast. But both of my podcasts, please join and like and subscribe and share the content to others out there that would probably enjoy these if they're into hard rock, heavy metal, and maybe if they're beginner smokers or experienced cigar smokers as well. Please pass these podcasts on to them and let them know, and let me know your feedback. Give me some feedback, some thumbs up. Even if you don't mean it, please give me some anyway. So, anyway, so what I wanted to get into tonight is the albums from the bands that I had discovered through maybe my parents or through friends or just by watching MTV when I was younger, the radio, word of mouth in school. And an old friend of mine that passed on some CDs to me to listen to because he thought the music was too heavy to listen to. I'll get into who that is here in a moment. So anyway, but I'm going to get into all the albums that have changed my life and that have made me continue to want to be listening to hard rock, heavy metal, and all the music that's really changed my life, really. So for the better. So anyway. the very first group that would be considered hard rock, blues-based hard rock. And you guys that know, I've discussed this band before, but it's REO Speedwagon, Lost in a Dream. This was, I had it on cassette. My parents bought me a bunch of music from Elvis, the Beach Boys, and this was involved. This was in the mix. I think it was music that they got me for Christmas. It was either Christmas or my birthday. I can't remember which one it was. But this was the album I really took to. The lead singer at the time, which was, let's see here. I'm trying to remember the names of the guys at the time. But anyway, it wasn't Kevin Cronin. This was the lead singer right here. But all these other guys, this guy here, well, all these other guys are still with REO Speedwagon, except for this gentleman here that passed away some time ago due to drinking. I believe he kind of drank himself to death, which is very sad. But let's see here. Mike Murphy on vocals. Let's see here. Which Kevin Cronin did write some of the music for this album. There was some credit to him, I believe. No, this isn't the album. I'm thinking of, oh gosh, I'll think of the album before this. Riding the Storm Out, I think was the name of the album before this one. But Mike Murphy on vocals, Gary Rithrath, Rich Rath, which is this gentleman here. He passed away, and he was definitely probably one of my favorite guitarists, you know, throughout my life when I was young, that I really enjoy listening to. So wish they were, okay, let's see here. Gosh, they're not mentioning the names very well on here at the time. But anyway, gosh, I need to get the names of these guys a little better, I guess. I thought their names were on here. But anyway, Mike Murphy was the vocalist, and I really liked his singing style. Just very bluesy, raspy kind of a voice, which was this gentleman here again. And rest in peace, you know, Gary Rithrath. Rest in peace to this guy here. It's sad that he lost his life quite some time back due to drinking. So anyway, it's just too bad that some of these artists lose their lives to alcohol and drugs. But Gary, thanks for what you contributed to REO Speedwagon. Definitely miss you, and glad I got to experience you definitely throughout my life. But anyway, so again, this was the first album that got me into finding out what hard rock is, and for getting to for this album causing me to explore more into the hard rock heavy metal genre. Even some of the blues-based hard rock heavy metal bands I really started to love later, which I think this album contributed to my interest in that. So anyway, but that was again my first album that I really got a taste of hard rock, and I just was immediately attracted to it, and was just, it became a part of me so much. And so thank you, REO Speedwagon. But the band that really launched my interest in hard rock heavy metal was Kiss Alive 2. This was the first album I listened to from these guys through a friend at the time when I was 8 years old. And so I saved up for a whole year to buy this album. So I think I was about 9 years old when I finally had enough money to buy this. And so anyway, but Kiss Alive 2, and I'll just never forget, hearing Detroit Rock City. That was the first track off of this album. I'll never forget hearing that song. And then, oh, I dropped an ash, guys. Darn it. I've been trying to get that to happen on the last 2 episodes of my other podcast, and it hasn't happened until after the podcast ends. And so I got some ashes that I need to drop in my other podcast for you guys. But I'll never forget that first track, Detroit Rock City, that I heard. It just blew me away. And then just the way the guys looked, just blew me away. I was into a lot of superheroes at the time, and I just thought they were not real. They just didn't seem real to me. Just the way they looked and the way they sounded. Their sound was just over the top. And in the album, you can hear explosions. And on the inside of this, when you open it up, it shows the full stage with all the explosions. And so the imagery and the sound just blew me away completely. And it caused me to want to know these guys a lot more. So I became pretty obsessive, I guess. But it's still, to this day, I'm a huge Kiss fan. Still will be probably my favorite band of all time, besides Stryper, which I've became friends with those guys over the years. Got to work with them in '90 on the Against the Law tour. Never got to work with Kiss, but I did get to meet Eric Carr. That came along later after Peter Criss, and got to meet Gene Simmons briefly, but got to really stand around and talk with Eric Carr for a little bit. Again, that was a drummer after Peter Criss, and he passed away back in '91, so I'm glad I got to meet him. I met him in 1988 in Casper, Wyoming, during the Crazy Nights tour. And then I'll never forget hearing Peter Criss on here sing for the first time, which is The Cat. I'll never forget hearing him on this for the first time. I loved hearing Gene Simmons and Ace Frehley sing too on here. But I really enjoyed hearing Peter Criss, Beth that he sang, and let's see what else. Hard Luck Woman, and then so this album caused me to go back and listen to their previous stuff, and I just fell in love with Peter Criss a lot, and he's really what got me into wanting to play drums and sing. My dad, when he was alive and when I was younger, he was a guitarist, and he sang a lot and played guitar. And so when at a young age, I really thought that I'd probably end up wanting to play guitar and and everything. But I ended up getting into the drums after seeing Peter Criss, seeing a picture over the top of him with that drum set wrapped all the way around him, and how big it was, and the sounds that he got out. I mean, hearing him play drums on this as well is really what got me into wanting to play drums as well. But there's the inside of that when you open it up, just all those explosions and the big drum riser where he lifts up and those big cats on the front, and where just all the explosions, and that just really intrigued me too. I'd never seen anything like that. So and then hearing those explosions on the album, and just hearing all the crowd in the background cheering, and the roar of the crowd, and it just made me want to definitely experience live concerts. And so over my life, still to this day, I still love going to concerts. I love being around it, and I worked within the music world, or the music business, for a little bit, and got to be around all the live stuff that I wanted. Got to experience a lot of live shows, and still to this day, I'm really into live albums if they're produced well. So even if they're not perfectly recorded, I still love I love the way the live albums are, and it just makes you feel like you're right there with them, and everything. So this cigar, I'm gonna go ahead and give it another relight. It's kind of going out on me again. So anyway, I'm going to give it another relight, but because of the second relight, I'm going to drop my rating down to a 90, I think. But other than that, it's been a great cigar so far. But of course, I've been talking, and I laid it down and so I think because of that, it might have went out on me again. So we'll get another light and see what happens here. So far, I'm really enjoying the cigar. To be honest with you guys, it's really good cigar. Besides the two relights I'm doing, and hopefully this will be the last relight I do. I really do hope this will be the last relight. So, but anyway, so far good cigar overall though. But I am gonna drop my rain down to a 90 due to two relights now. Try to keep this lit and going. I'd like to try and finish this before this podcast is over, or be close to finishing it, so I can continue to give you my thoughts on this. So we'll see what it does from here on, I guess. But anyway, so far so good, really. I really am liking this cigar. And I'll continue to let you know what I think of it here. So anyway, um, let's see here. And then later on, of course, Kiss kind of got really commercial sounding. In the beginning, they were very, very raw and kind of grungy sounding, and then they kind of went commercial during the Kiss Alive 2 era, which was off the Love Gun tour, and then previous to that was Rock and Roll Over and Destroyer. You could see that they were kind of going more commercialized a little bit, but it really got more commercialized, and Dynasty was kind of disco after the Kiss Alive 2, and then they did the solo albums, and then they did Dynasty, which was kind of a disco rock album, and then they did Unmasked, which was very commercial, and then they went back and did Creatures of the Night, and they kind of got back to their heavy sound, and I didn't bring that album down with me, but I did bring Lick It Up. I'll never forget the day they did their press conference on MTV and took off the makeup and put the video of Lick It Up on MTV. And I'll just never forget that day, being very anxious to see what they look like without makeup. And of course, at the time, Ace Frehley was gone, and Peter Criss was gone. So Eric Carr came in, Vincent came in with Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. And I think Lick It Up, I think really took them to another level. Of course, their music style kind of changed. It became, continued to do, more kind of harder type sounds, faster, grungy again, kind of raw sounding again. And so this album really changed my life too. It really put a spark back in me with the whole Kiss lineup and what they were doing. A lot of people stopped following him after Peter Criss and Ace Frehley left, and they took the makeup off. A lot of people stopped following him, and over recent years, when they were back in makeup and touring again, I had people say they've been back together, and I'm like, well, they never did stop playing. They just have changed their style a little bit, and they were without makeup for a while. But a lot of people didn't even know they were playing in the 80s without makeup. I don't know how people missed that, but they did somehow. And then let's see here. And then the next, one of my next favorite albums during the non-makeup era was Kiss Asylum. This album just really got me excited about how music was sounding at the time, and I'd go to the skating rink and request songs off of this album a lot. I would request All Night, which they wouldn't play because of the content on that, but they would always play Tears Are Falling for me. And let's see here. Oh gosh, Trial by Fire, they would play. That was another song I'd request all the time. Who Wants to Be Lonely was another great song off this album. So anyway, so this album just really got me excited about Kiss as well, and where music was going in the 80s at the time. And they kind of fell into that whole hair band kind of look. Got very glammy looking again, but the music was kind of raw still and a little bit commercialized, but still raw somewhat. And just this album really continued to keep me excited about Kiss. So still one of my definitely one of my favorite albums of Kiss. And then later on, let's see here. This came out in let's see here, 91. They brought out Revenge, and then in 1992, this album came out, Kiss Alive 3. And this album really changed my life too, because I was in a bad relationship at the time. I was dating a gal from Montana that was somewhat abusive with me, and verbally abusive, physically abusive with me. And this album, when it came out, there was something about the messages and very rebellious type style of music, I guess you could say. But it really gave me the courage to get away from that relationship. And I drove this gal about 9 hours to Montana, from Wyoming to Montana, where she lived. And I listened to this all the way back from Montana to Torrington, Wyoming, which was about a 9-hour drive. So I celebrated that I was going to break up with her once I got back to Torrington. I didn't break up with her in Montana. She kind of threatened that she was going to destroy my property if I ever broke up with her. Just not a nice gal at all. But I bought this, and before I left Montana, I bought this and played it all the way back after I dropped her off. And when I got back to Torrington, after listening to this, I decided that I was going to go ahead and break that off with her. And so this album gave me the courage to do that. It was just kind of some of the messages that got me pumped up was, not to take any shit off of anybody and to be your own person and not let anyone run your life, But that's a lot of the Kiss's messages is you do what you want in life. There's no rules that you should have to follow all the time. You do what you feel is best for you. And so kind of a rebellious, nature of the band, definitely encouraging people to do what they want in life and not let people hold them back. And so that album, the Kiss Live 2 or Kiss Live 3, really gave me that power, encouragement to not take off or not put up with any more shit from this person I was with, and to not let that person ruin my life and run my life and everything. So that Kiss Live 3 album gave me the courage to go back home and call her and tell her that I was done. So I did that, and my life got much better after getting rid of that negative energy in my life. So, and then this is the band that caused me to discover who Black Sabbath was, and to get a taste of some of the psychedelic sounds that my mom always told me about that she was into when she was, she was in her 20s, around in the 60s, and she told me about a lot of the psychedelic stuff she was into, and this kind of had this Black Sabbath Paranoid album that came out in 71. Later on in life, heard this album and got some of that kind of psychedelic sound through this album. But War Pigs, Paranoid, Iron Man were the songs that I, of course, heard because those were the singles that they brought out off of this album later. But got a taste of some more heavy metal, British metal, really. So this was the first album I heard of Black Sabbath that I discovered was British metal, and that got me into British metal, and got some of that psychedelic imagery that my mom always talked about. And then later on, seeing their videos from this album, just all the psychedelic kind of imagery in the videos. I just that's what got me into wanting to learn more about the psychedelic kind of sound. So anyway, so Black Sabbath, Paranoid, another album that really changed my life. Um, that got me into, again, finding out what British metal was, and finding out what psychedelic style of music was. So I contribute that to Black Sabbath. So, and then due to that, let's see here. I'm missing an album here. Oh, here we go. So anyway, so due to getting a taste of that psychedelic kind of sound through Black Sabbath and the imagery later, started finding out who Alice Cooper was later. And the first song I heard from Alice Cooper was I'm 18. And gosh, and let's see, what was the other one? Isn't My Body, Ballad of Dwight Fry, or another couple great songs off of this album. But anyway, this is called Love It to Death. And this came out in, let's see here, 1971 is when this album came out. I didn't start really listening to anything with Alice Cooper until the 80s. I had always heard School's Out and, that song from Alice Cooper on the radio. Gosh, Million Dollar Babies, I think, was another song I heard on the radio. But, gosh, I'm trying to think of what else I heard from him. But I heard those two songs off of a compilation album my mom had. But then when I heard I'm 18, that really got me excited about psychedelic music as well. So there's a lot of that kind of psychedelic kind of sound and imagery in their videos. So I got into that. So because of Black Sabbath, I then discovered Alice Cooper later, and really dug kind of that psychedelic kind of style of dark psychedelic and kind of style of music. And then, of course, then later on discovered The Who. So some of the first songs I heard from The Who, right here from this album. Let's see here. This album is called Who's Next? And this came out, oh gosh, let's see here. Trying to remember what year this came out. Oh gosh. It was late 70s or so that this album came out. But I didn't really start listening to The Who until I was, into my early or late 20s. I started listening to The Who and kind of getting into The Who. But some of the songs that I really kind of heard over the years was, let's see, Bob O'Reilly, Won't Get Fooled Again, great song. Behind Blue Eyes. But this was the first album I heard of The Who that the first album I really listened to of theirs. And then due to that, I went back to their earliest music. They had a lot of the psychedelic sound and psychedelic imagery. Some of the videos I caught on MTV, or I can't remember what video. I can't remember what shows I saw some of those videos, but YouTube later caught a lot of the stuff on YouTube when YouTube was kind of taking off when I was younger. Caught a lot of the videos from their early days, and some TV shows I watched on TV, maybe Night Flight it might have been, was able to catch some early stuff of The Who that was even earlier than this, and again got a taste of some psychedelic kind of sounds and imagery through them as well. So anyway, let's see here. I'm trying to think of who's next here on my list. And of course, that was the album I just discussed from The Who. It was called Who's Next. But on my list of groups that I really got into was Journey. And I'll show you that album here in a minute. Trying to keep the cigar going. It's having a hard time wanting to stay lit. But it's tasting great. The construction's great. I'm really enjoying the cigar overall, but this was my third relight now. So it's having kind of a tough time staying lit. So I'm going to have to bring my rating now down to probably an 80, maybe an 89, 87. We'll see if it redeems itself here. On my last podcast I did for Dropping the Ash podcast the other, a few nights back, I was smoking a real twisted love story cigar by Romeo y Julieta, and I had to do a relight. I only had to do one relight on that cigar, but after I did the relight, it really took off after that. Never stopped. It never burned out on me after that again. The ash got even better. The cigar got even better. So I was hoping for that with this too, but so anyway, but overall a great cigar, but not not too fan of a. I'm not too big of a fan of having to do the relights, I guess. So but I'm gonna take that first cigar band off. I'm getting kind of close to that band, so I'll take that off. So anyway, another band I really got into when I was young, and this came out in 1981. I was 11 years old, which is Journey Captured. It's a live album. I was once I got involved with Kiss or got into Kiss and everything, I started kind of branching out, trying to discover other bands out there. And I went to the library a lot back in Shatter, Nebraska when I was a kid, and they had albums you could play. And for some reason, the imagery on this caught my eye, and then I saw the back where the guys had, well, Steve Perry there on the front had, they all kind of had long hair. So I was like, well, this must be a hard rock band because of how they look and because of the imagery. So sure enough, and here's a better picture of those guys right there. Anyway, so I went to the library almost every day after school and played this album. And so, of course, I really took to Lights, Wheel in the Sky, Dixie Highway, Walks Like a Lady, Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', Wheel in the Sky, of course, I said already, Any Way You Want It. I had actually heard that song, Any Way You Want It, on, it was the movie Caddyshack. So I heard that song on Caddyshack, but didn't know it was Journey until I heard this song, or until I heard this album. So this album really changed my life a lot. It really allowed me to kind of branch out and experience more styles of hard rock. So anyway, I really got into this because it just had a lot of catchy hooks and just some of the messages really kind of got to me to where I really got into these guys because of the messages and just the hooks and all the catchy hooks in their music. It just really got me into Journey. And through that, a little bit later, this Journey album came out, Frontiers. And so this was the first time I saw them actually on MTV and just really fell in love with this album. So Separate Ways, Send Her My Love, After the Fall, Chain Reaction, Edge of the Blade, Trouble Child, Back Talk, Frontiers, Rubicon. Just really great album. I just really got into this, into Journey even more because of it. So anyway, but there's a picture of the guys there. And so anyway, great album, Frontiers. And this came out in 1982. And so really got into Journey even more after this album came out. And it caused me to want to go listen to more of their music that I hadn't heard from their past catalog. albums from their catalog from the past. So I really went back and started trying to find other Journey albums to listen to. And it wasn't until I got to oh, I was 19 years old in 1989. Moved to Miami Beach, Florida, to go to school for the music business, and that's where I ended up finding a lot of Journey cassettes at a Walgreens in Miami Beach, South Beach. So I started grabbing a little bit of music, and then I asked my parents to. I found a list of all their albums, so I asked my parents to find those albums for me and send them to me. And so they sent me some albums from cassettes at the time. So got some more cassettes from Journey through my parents that I requested, and maybe it was for my birthday or around Christmas time when I was in Miami Beach, but I can't remember for sure. But they sent me some Journey stuff, and it really got me through a lot of tough times down there when I was young. Just a lot of their music really helped me get through some tough times when I was struggling. Maybe there was a time I didn't have a job in Florida. I was living off my savings and going through some tough times, and their music just really encouraged me to not give up and to keep fighting and to keep going and to not let anything stop me from achieving my goals. So Journey really got me through a lot of stuff. So that was another album that caused me, the Frontiers and the Captured albums really got me wanting to really learn more about who Journey was, and just really kind of liked some of that little bit of a southern rock sound in some of their stuff, like kind of the way the REO Speedwagon Lost in a Dream album was that I talked to you about just a little bit ago. So was discovering some other styles of rock, and so really started experimenting with different bands that had different sounds, and it really helped me broaden my horizons with music when it came to hard rock, heavy metal too in some cases. So anyway, Journey, another one of my favorite bands, definitely. If you guys have never had this Guinness beer with the nitro cold brew coffee infused into it, you gotta try this beer. It's really, really good. Really good. So anyway, cheers to you guys. And then let's see here. Another band that changed my life was Aerosmith. This was the first album I listened to from Aerosmith. And this came out in, let's see here, 1979, I believe is when this came out. Maybe 78. But this is a greatest hits record. And it's got Dream On, Same Old Song, Dance, Sweet Emotion, Walk This Way, Last Child, Back in the Saddle, Draw the Line, Kings and Queens Come Together, Remember, Walking in the Sand. But I was washing dishes when I was 16 at a restaurant called King's Inn in Torrington, Wyoming. And we went to a guy's house to drink a little bit. It's a funny story. The place I got hired at to wash dishes at the time, I was only a sophomore in high school, I believe, at the time. And the waitresses and everything were getting off earlier than I was. And there was kind of a bar in this hotel that I worked at. It was a hotel. And they told me to come get a drink with them after I got done with my work. They thought I was older than what I was. And so I went into the bar area they had, and they bought me a beer, and I'm sitting there drinking a beer with these guys, and my boss walks through, and she takes a second look at me, and she pulls me into the kitchen and says, if I ever see you in there again, you're fired. So I had to go back and tell those guys that I was only 16 and that I wasn't old enough to drink. At the time it was 19, that was the drinking age, but they obviously thought I was 19 or older. So anyway, I told them I couldn't be in there drinking with them, and or else I was going to lose my job. So we went back to this guy's house that was a waiter at the place, and I started thumbing through his albums, his vinyls, and I saw this. And I don't know, for some reason, I asked him who Aerosmith was, and he put it on. And it was just something about their imagery as well. I thought that was pretty cool, that the A with the wing and with the wings and everything. I don't know, for some reason that just caught my eye. So we put it on, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing from Steven Tyler, the lead singer of Aerosmith. I couldn't believe his voice. And Dream On, of course, was the song that, which was the first song on this. As soon as I heard Dream On, it left me wanting to learn more and hear more about from Aerosmith. So anyway, so I started diving into learning who Aerosmith was. And then later on, when I was living in Miami Beach, Florida, in 1989, this album came out, Aerosmith Pump. And this album just really changed my life too. It got me really excited about who Aerosmith was even more. And I got to go actually see them in concert during this tour in Miami, Florida. And I got the very last ticket that was on sale. This concert sold out in like 40 minutes. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts was opening up for him. And so I got to meet Randy Bird, their lead guitarist, before the show. Got to meet the guys in Aerosmith before the show. And but the songs that they brought out off of this that I got to see on MTV, and I saw this album came out right before I moved to Florida, so I got to see some of the videos. And so when I got down to Florida, I ended up finding the cassette at the time and bought it, and got to go see him in concert. Got to meet him. Got to meet Randy Bird from Joan Jett, her lead guitarist at the time. But the songs that came out at the time was Janie's Got a Gun and Loving an Elevator. Let's see here. Monkey on My Back. Young Lust was another great song. Fine, Fine. The Other Side. Gosh, so many great songs on this album. What It Takes. Anyway, so got to go see him, and this album just really got me really excited about Aerosmith. And so I was glad I got to go see them and got to experience a live show from them. And I've seen them several times over throughout my life, but this was my first live show getting to see them. You know, I remember getting to the arena and everybody was in their vehicles listening to Aerosmith, and so I got a chance to really experience something pretty special that night, I thought. And so anyway, so this will remain one of my favorite albums of Aerosmith, definitely. So great album. If you haven't listened to that or anything, and if you've been stuck on maybe just the old Aerosmith from the 70s and you never really have given Aerosmith a chance from the 90s, you need to check them out. Get a Grip that came out after this was a great album too. Really great album. And they really took off with the next album even after that. Even went more higher, if you ask me. So with Get a Grip. So, but Pump will always remain very special to me because that was the album where I got to finally see him on TV, and then of course on MTV. Then I ended up catching the live version of Dream On, which got me even more excited about Aerosmith. So I ended up buying more of their music, and definitely became one of my favorite American blues rock bands. And of course, through that, I started discovering a band called the Black Crowes back in 1990. Really fell in love with that group too. Great band, blues, rock, southern blues kind of rock sounds through that band. See, I'm trying to think of the song they had on their album at the time that it was a remake or it was a song that was written by another band. I'm trying to remember who it was at the time again. But I was trying to remember the name of the song that the Black Crowes came out at the time. Gosh, it'll come to me hopefully here in a moment. Twice as Hard, something like that, I think was the song. But anyway, so me and my brother were supposed to go see Aerosmith whenever they rescheduled their tour, their farewell tour. And the Black Crowes are supposed to open up for them, so hopefully they'll do that because they just brought out a new album and they're doing some of their own touring now. So hopefully they'll still open up for Aerosmith when we get to see him finally, and hopefully the Black Crowes will open up for him. I've always wanted to see them, so hopefully that'll happen still. So. I'm really hoping this cigar will finally stay lit for me and not burn out. This is my third relight, or third or fourth relight. But other than that, it's been a great cigar, guys. And then next on my list, later on, of course, I heard Van Halen on MTV from the 1984 album, where they brought out Panama and Jump. So I really liked those two songs that they brought out. But really, what got me into Van Halen more was this album here. It's called Fair Warning, and this came out in 1981. So I remember seeing the video on MTV. I think it was on Headbangers Ball that I actually saw it. I think it was Headbangers Ball, but the song Unchained, I thought it was just a very kind of hard rock, very hard rock kind of sounding song, really raw. And so this is the album that really got me into Van Halen. So this album's really good, but Unchained was really the song that got me really wanting to learn more about Van Halen and hear more of their stuff. So this caused me to go back and listen to their early stuff and everything. And then, of course, after 1984, that came out in '84, David Lee Roth left, and Sammy Hagar came in and did 5150. And I think that was in 1980. Oh, was that 85 or 80? I think it was 1985, I want to say, or 86, that they brought that album out. So, of course, I really enjoyed Van Halen and Sammy Hagar, but this was the album that really got me into Van Halen, Fair Warning, again from 1981. So anyway, great album. Yeah, really great album from Van Halen. So that got me into Van Halen. So that was another album that really changed my life. And then also Quiet Riot. This came out in 1983, but I'll never forget seeing the videos off of this, which was Metal Health and Come On Feel the Noise. Just that guy with the mask, and on the video where he's in the Metal Health video, just, I don't know, the imagery of him being all tied up in a padded room and hands coming up out of the floor and grabbing onto him, and just the dark imagery, or it just really got me into this band here, Quiet Riot. And still to this day, anytime I hear anything from Quiet Riot, from this album, I just get excited. But this album really changed my life too. Just really got me into wanting to get more involved with finding out more heavy metal bands to listen to. But I hate to, hate to admit it, but I'm really attracted to bands with just darker images that discuss darker themes and everything. Of course, I love a lot of the metal bands from the 80s that discuss a lot of the partying and stuff too, and drinking, partying, having a good time, whatever. Really like those bands too, but there's just always something about these kind of images that just really gets me excited and really gets me wanting to learn, find more metal bands to listen to. So at the time, this just really caused me to want to keep finding more bands to listen to. And so that led into this band here, Twisted Sister. And again, kind of negative imagery. Dee Snider's holding a big bone. And just the rebellious kind of style of music, some of the darker lyrics discussing about the dark side of life. I think that's what I've really enjoyed, is bands that discuss the darker side of life, because throughout the 60s there was a lot of the flower generation, I guess you could call it. They were always discussing peace and everything was just perfect and wonderful. And then Black Sabbath came out and started just singing about negative things in life, the darker side of life. And then you saw bands follow, of course, Quiet Riot, Twisted Sister. And then, of course, being in a Kiss the way I have been, Dee Snider wearing the makeup that he's got on there, just really got me interested in them more. And seeing the videos on MTV just really got me excited about this band as well. So another album that really changed my life. And this came out in 1984, so I was 14 at the time. But the songs on this was Stay Hungry, We're Not Gonna Take It, Burn in Hell, another great song. I Want to Rock the Price, more of a more of a ballad type song, but with some hard edge to it. Don't Let Me Down, The Beast, SMF, um, and which SMF means sick motherfuckers. That's what that stands for. So anyway, but great album, and again, just the imagery and everything just got me again intrigued about wanting to hear more of this kind of style of music. So, and then which before I heard Twisted Sister, I actually found this band on MTV, Motley Crue, and this album here, of course, the dark imagery, it just really, again, got me excited about where heavy metal was going. The dark imagery, the lyrics that aren't so pretty, I guess you could say, that are just discuss a lot of the dark side of life again. And just the way they looked kind of remind me of Kiss in the really early days. Just the black leather and some makeup they got on a little bit. Mick Mars right there really reminded me of Kiss a little bit, how he looked. And some of the early videos, it even shows him kind of spitting blood out of his mouth, and or having blood come out of his mouth, and fire coming up off of Vince Neil's, or off of Nikki Sixx's feet, which was the album before this. I saw some videos that had that kind of imagery, and this just had kind of gothic, almost an emo kind of style of how they looked at the time, which I didn't know what emo was at that time, but I was only oh gosh, I think I think this came out in '83, I believe, and so I was only 13 at the time when I discovered these guys. But just the imagery and their videos just really got me again excited about metal and who this band was. So so they went on to do some other great albums. Theater of Pain that came out after this, more glammy look and more commercialized. And then they brought out Girls, 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 which went back to more of a harder, kind of edgy sound again. Got away from the leather and the makeup. And then they did Dr. Feelgood, which was a great album too. So, and that album was probably their biggest selling album, Dr. Feelgood. That came out, I think, in 91. 90 or 91 at the time. So anyway, this was a great album. Shout the Devil. Definitely one of my favorites. You can't see it in here, but I even got a big flag of this album on my wall. It's just a band that really intrigued me to continue to want to listen to heavy metal and hard rock. So anyway, really love the imagery of how they look, imagery in their videos, the musical content, just the edginess and the darker lyrics. I've always, for some reason, been attracted to the bands that have darker images and darker lyrics, making or discussing the things that other bands maybe didn't want to discuss back in the 60s, I guess. So anyway. Yeah, I'm disappointed with the cigar. I really thought it'd stay lit better than this. I love the way it tastes. I love the construction, but I'm just very disappointed about how often I'm having to relight this. I'm going to try to give it a little bit of a longer relight here, so we'll see what that does. Anyway, the other cigar I showed you from last year that I smoked on St. Patrick's Day, the Shamrock by Alec Bradley, which is a cousin of this one, did really well at the time. So I'm not sure why this one's having a hard time, but anyway, try to get this lit again. But so I don't know. I'm not sure why. These cigars aren't perfect. Of course, they're made by human hands. They're not made by machines. So sometimes they get rolled too tight or too loose. That can cause some of the burn issues. I know it's not my humidity level because I keep my humidity levels and my temps around 64, 65 at the highest. So I know it can't be that. And I don't know if it's just because I talk too much or what, but my cigars have been doing better. The more I puff on them, I guess, and the less I talk. So, anyway, see if I can keep this going now. Then, of course, another band I discovered on MTV was this album here from Def Leppard, Pyromania. And this came out in 1983 as well. So there's just so many bands in the early 80s that were just coming out with just really cool imagery on their album covers. And just great bands. The imagery in their live shows, the pyrotechnics, the fire and explosions, and just the way they looked. There's a picture of Phil Collins and Steve Clark. Steve Clark passed away after the Hysteria tour. So rest in peace, Steve Clark. And let's see here. Some more images of the band. So anyway, so just a great band, and I discovered these guys on MTV, and some of the great songs off of this was the songs I heard on MTV was Photograph, Foolin', Rock of Ages, and but this is the deluxe edition, so it's got a live concert from the Pyromania tour. This was recorded. The live show was recorded at the LA Forum in 1983. But just a great band. And their videos, the imagery in their videos was just incredible. I thought dark kind of themes. A lot of fantasy type themes in their videos. But so this band really, I thought took hard rock, heavy metal to a new level, and they were considered British metal in the beginning. They're not really. Later on, they were discovered or considered more hair metal, but I'll still always consider them British metal since they came from England. But just great, edgy. I mean, listening to their previous albums, High and Dry and On Through the Night, the two that came out before this, it was definitely more edgy and more British metal sounding. This one started going a little more commercial, but had some edginess to it still, I thought. And but just the hooks in their video, in their music, and their imagery of their videos, just really got me hooked on these guys too. So, and then of course, again, very special album to me, Hysteria. I thought this was a really great album. This one really took them to some really high levels. They just really peaked and just really got very popular from this album. But this came out in, let's see here. I want to say it came out in 87. Yeah, 1987. I was right. And this also has the live recording of when they were in Denver at McNichols Arena in 1988 that I got to attend with a couple of my friends, and they did the videos for MTV, which was Pour Some Sugar on Me and Armageddon. It was two of the videos they brought out on MTV that were from this concert at McNichols Arena, and so I got to be there to witness them recording those videos for MTV, and they also recorded the whole show, which they brought out later on VHS, a VHS tape, and so I got to see the live show from Denver, and then I'm trying to remember the name of the VHS that I have. I've got it on DVD now, but It has all their videos from MTV, and then it had the live show from the Hysteria tour on it as well. So anyway, this will always be a special album to me too. I had it on cassette in the beginning. Me and a friend of mine waited at it was Pomida at the time, but we were waiting for this album to come out. We got to Pomida when they first opened up in the morning, and asked them to go in the back and get this because they didn't have it out on the shelf yet. So they went in the back and found it, and so we bought the cassette of this. And the music on this really changed my life too, and just really caused me to love Def Leppard even more. So, but anyway, Def Leppard's had so much great albums and great music. So, and then of course I discovered Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads from this album. This originally came out. Oh gosh, I think this album originally came out like 1980, gosh, 86 or so. I'm trying to remember when this came out exactly, but it allowed me to really hear what Ozzy had out with Randy Rhoads, the music that Ozzy wrote after the Black Sabbath days. So this is the album that got me pretty hooked on Ozzy Osbourne, and of course got me to be aware of who Randy Rhoads was, which was one of the founding members of Quiet Riot before he joined Ozzy. So anyway, but just, so many great songs on this. Crazy Train was probably the first song I really took to from him, and then Mr. Crowley and Flying High Again, Iron Man, he sang off, so this was also what actually caused me to really discover who Black Sabbath was, because on this album they sing, Iron Man and Paranoid, which I really love the way those two songs sound. So then I wanted to find out, more about Black Sabbath through this. So Ozzy Osbourne solo stuff and Black Sabbath, this really educated me on who Black Sabbath was and who Ozzy was. So this was the album that changed my life too, and what got me into Ozzy. So this album really got me excited about British metal and heavy metal. But Ozzy's voice was just so, oh gosh, mesmerizing, his voice. So anyway, another album that I thought was great that changed my life too. So and then of course first album I listened to of AC/DC was Back in Black from 1980. This was the first album that Brian Johnson was on. Hell's Bells, Shoot to Thrill, What Do You Do for Money, Giving a Dog a Bone, Let Me Put My Love Into You, Back in Black, which was a tribute to Bon Scott that passed away before Brian Johnson came in. Last album with Bon Scott was Highway to Hell. Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution, Shake a Leg. So many great songs on here. And then I went back and discovered this album here, Let There Be Rock. And I just love the bluesiness of this, and the Bon Scott's voice was just great on this, I thought. So anyway, then I went back, and of course later this album came out. For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. Great album. For Those About to Rock, I Put My Finger on You, Let's Get It Up, Inject the Venom, Snowball, Evil Walks, COD, Breaking the Rules, Night of the Long Knives, and Spellbound. I think I even like this album a little more than the Back in Black album. Just edgy, bluesy, raw sounding music on this. And then they had Flick of the Switch after that. That was not quite as good, but still a pretty good album. So anyway, but got to go see AC/DC in 1988. Got to go hang out backstage with AC/DC. Got to meet those guys and hang out with them for a little bit. White Line was opening up for them, so I got to meet White Line and hang out on their bus, and got to hang out on their bus as well. So that was a great time in 1988 to get to hang out with those guys and meet them. Malcolm Young wasn't with them. He was in rehab. So his brother, let's see here. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what his brother's name was that filled in. He's been with them recently. Gosh, I'll hopefully think of his name here in a moment. But his brother, the one that I met on the Blow Up Your Video tours, the one that's been filling in for Malcolm Young since he passed away. Stevie Young is his name. So I got to meet Stevie Young. So got to meet Stevie Young, and they're all just great guys. All of those guys in AC/DC was great. But getting to meet AC/DC was really great. So really enjoyed getting to meet AC/DC. So, and then of course, my first taste of Christian metal was Striper. A buddy of mine passed on. This isn't the original cover, but Yellow and Black Attack. A buddy of mine thought they were too heavy, so they passed on. He passed this album on to me. Yellow and Black Attack. Soldiers Under Command was another one that came out after this. Reason for the Season, a 2-song EP that came out that they had put out at the time. So got to get a taste of Christian metal, and I thought this was probably the hardest music I'd listened to, more than some of the other bands I'd been started listening to at the time. I thought Striper was even harder, so I really started digging that real kind of fast, hard, edgy kind of music as well. So anyway, it's too bad this cigar is having such a trouble staying lit. And I've ran out of propane on that one, so I gotta find another lighter here. So anyway, but let's see here. Gosh. I'm really disappointed that this cigar is having such a tough time. I really am. Because it's really been a great cigar overall. Anyway, but that lighter's not working very well. Gosh. Let's see here. Let's see what else I can do here, guys. I really want to finish the cigar for you guys. So, I'm really... Oh, shit. I'm burning the wrong side. Okay, here we go. God. I'd really like to see the cigar do better for you guys. Anyway, if you guys have had any trouble with your cigar from this, let me know. Because I just can't believe the cigar's having this much trouble. So anyway, my rating's probably not going to be real high at the end of all this, so... Thank God for my Zippo. So, gosh, this has been a really good cigar, though. It tastes great. Getting a lot of that green tea flavor, floral notes, pepper as well. I've been getting some of that. A little bit of natural sweetness, definitely. So anyway, let's see what this does the rest of the way. But yeah, so... first Christian metal album I ever owned was Striper. And then, of course, next album, Striper to Help the Devil. They got really big on MTV. Calling on You, Free Honestly, The Way, just huge songs. But Calling on You and, let's see, Calling on You and Honestly were the two biggest songs that came off of this album. So anyway... got to go see them in concert and loved the show. Got to shake their hands before they left stage and told myself I was going to work with these guys later. And just became even more of a big Striper fan because of this. Their outfits and the way they looked just really caught my attention. Just loved all the yellow and black, even more than what they had been before. Their album got huge. This album got huge. And their stage shows were huge. They were kind of playing smaller venues, but just their stage shows were just tremendous. And then in 1990, I actually got to work with them during the Against the Law tour. Got to work with them in '90. And then through this, I got to build relationships with these guys, and still friends with these guys to this day. So. But anyway, great album. Two-Time Woman, Rock the People, Two Bodies, One Mind, One Soul. Not That Kind of Guy, Shining Star, which was a remake from Earth, Wind, and Fire. But just a great album, really. Grungy, kind of music. They changed their colors to blue and turquoise and black, and just changed their imagery, kind of grew facial hair, and just kind of got that grungy look. And then Queensryche, Rage for Order, got a taste of what progressive metal was like. And let's see, I Dream in Infrared, Walk the Shadows. Great songs off of this. There's a picture of them on the back. So got a taste of some progressive metal there. And then, of course, this is what got me into Judas Priest, hearing the Priest live. Just a great live album from the Turbo Tour. That's what got me into Priest. That came out in, let's see here, gosh, I want to say this album came out like 1986 or so at the time. I'm not seeing the year. I think it came out in 86, I believe. Let's see here. Yep, 1986. And so the Turbo album I ended up picking up later, which was the album they toured for this. So these were the first taste of Judas Priest that I got. I got the hiccups here. Get a drink there. Oh, maybe this cigar will stay lit now. And then I discovered Rat. Lay It Down was a big song off of this. You're in Love. So anyway, so this was the album that got me into Rat, and this came out in 1985. There's some pictures of the band there. So another album that really changed my life. Just really kept me excited about metal. And then Poison. When this came out in 1988, I was washing dishes still for King's Inn, and the video they brought off of this was Nothing But a Good Time, which showed in the beginning a dishwasher having a really hard time, and after the videos, towards the end of the video, he was getting chewed out in the beginning for not getting dishes done quick enough, and so kind of, even though I didn't have any issues with my job washing dishes at the time, but I could relate to the guy in the video, and then in the end everything turned out all right. All of his dishes were done, and his boss wasn't mad at him anymore. But just the imagery on that as well, and just the real glammy look, from the guys in Poison, I just really loved. And so then I went back and listened to the previous album they brought out before this, which was Look What the Cat Drug In, and their videos and these videos on MTV on Headbangers Ball, and the song that came off their previous album, Look What the Cat Drug In, which was oh gosh, oh boy, guys, I'm having a hard time remembering a few things tonight. Let's see here. Talk Dirty to Me was a song that came off of the album previous to this called What the Cat Drug In. That was a song that really a song that I really loved as well. And they had so many other great songs off that album too. And then I discovered Bon Jovi, 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit. Requested a lot of songs off of this at the roller skating rink when I was growing up, as well as all the Kiss Asylum music. And so this was the other album I always requested songs off of at the roller skating rink when I was in high school. Tokyo, Road, Silent Night, In and Out of Love. Gosh, so many great songs on this. Gosh, so many great songs off of this album. So this came out in 1985, and just a great album, 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit, which I went on to listen to many other Bon Jovi albums. So, and then last I got Iron Maiden. Discovered Iron Maiden through this here. I saw this at the video rental store at the time, and I had always heard of Iron Maiden. I saw kids growing up with their t-shirts with that imagery on it, And so I rented the video, and a lot of Egyptian themes during this concert, and just the British metal. These guys really got me into the British metal even more. And so I went on to start discovering who other British metal bands were, like, oh gosh, Saxon, Motorhead. Trying to think of what other British metal bands got me wanting to listen to Black Sabbath even more. Judas Priest, of course, is British metal, so I started really liking the whole British metal sound and started getting more into Judas Priest and more into Iron Maiden, Saxon, Motorhead, Def Leppard as well. So anyway, but these guys really got me into. Of course, these were This band's is still considered progressive metal, but they were British. Where Queensryche being progressive metal, they're from Seattle, so their American version of the progressive music. Or these guys were British, so definitely a different sound than what Queensryche is, but just the whole concept. Every album is themed a certain way, and the whole album is, all the songs are written based on the themes of each album. So really got into this live album here. So Live After Death, and I rented that VHS so many dang times. I'm surprised they just didn't finally give it to me, but they were making a lot of money off of me with that rental. So, but anyway, later on bought it on DVD and bought the CD. I got the vinyl to this as well. So, and then went back and listened to Killers. Of course, this album had Bruce Dickinson on it, which Bruce Dickinson is still with them. But this was the album previous, a few albums previous, which this is called Killers, and this had Paul Di'Anno on it. So, just, gosh, so many great songs on this. Wrathchild, Murders in the Rue Morgue, of course, the title track, Killers, Twilight Zone, Purgatory. Gosh, so many great songs on this. But this is another album that really got me into Iron Maiden even more. And still, to this day, off this album, the title track, Killers, is my favorite song besides maybe Number of the Beast. Off of the trying to think of the album that came off of. Let's see here. I'll think of it here in a moment. Hopefully, the album that Number of the Beast came off. Well, it was the Number of the Beast was the album that came out later. It was the first album with Bruce Dickinson, which was again the Number of the Beast. So. Anyway, so this album really got me into Iron Maiden and what progressive metal is all about. So anyway, those are that was pretty much everything. And last but not least, Dio, Holy Diver. This was the album that really got me into Dio and wanting to figure out who Dio was. Well, then I found out he was the second singer of Black Sabbath. So. Anyway, those are, a lot of the start of what really changed my life and got me more into heavy metal, hard rock, and just kept me wanting to keep learning more about hard rock, heavy metal, all these bands. And there's so many other bands that I can mention that I really love. But these were, I think, the most important albums to me and the most important bands that got me really into hard rock, heavy metal. And that got me through a lot of tough times in my life, and just caused me to, or helped me really to stay focused in my life of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be, and kept me motivated to not give up in life when things got tough. And just that, all these bands just really kept me excited about what I could do in my own life, and just keeping me excited about what my future may be like, and just getting me through a lot of tough times. And so those are the albums and bands that really changed my life for the better, I would say. So, but this cigar has been very difficult tonight. So anyway, but gosh, I'm gonna have to probably give the cigar probably a 69-70 rating because of all the relights. So I don't know. This is probably the first cigar I've had that I've had this much trouble with. But, you know, beautiful cigar, great construction on it. When it's burning, it puts off a lot of great smoke, and everything. So, anyway, get out some quick shout outs here. We're gone into 2 hours on this podcast, so let me do some quick shout outs, and then I'll let you guys go for the night. So new members, Marco Magliano, Candido Rosario, Chris Toy, Rawl Smith, Fallen Esge, James Smith, Harry Jackson, Charvel McCall, Masters William Hungot, let's see here, Master Ben, Helen Cavalier, Judy Trujillo Gurkha, Donley Perez, Gopala Krishna, Donley Perez, Sandy Fields, Tobacco's Premium D, Nicaragua, and Dennis Nelves. And then I want to give out a shout out to my son-in-law, Austin Riley, over in Tucson, Arizona, that's a member of Harper Cigar Lounge. And the last podcast, which was on February 18th, we had 1,382 members of Harper Cigar Lounge. We've got 19 new members, plus some that I haven't gotten a hold of yet. But for what I got on my group page, these were the new members that were listed. So 19 total. So now there's 1,401 members. And that's not including the ones that have just signed up that I don't have the list of yet. So anyway, thank you guys for joining Harper Cigar Lounge, for being a part of all this. And some of you have joined out there from the very beginning, which was February 14th of 2023. So some of you guys have been with us for a long time, but welcome all you new members. Thank you for joining this very special group of hard rock, heavy metal headbangers, and premium cigar smokers. But on the group page, got a lot of cigar content, a lot of hard rock, heavy metal content, and it's been put out to help bring back great memories of all the bands we've listened to. If you guys are around my age, I'm 53, almost 54. I'll be 54 in August. So a lot of it's up there to help bring back great memories for you guys, and then maybe rekindle some of your interest in hard rock, heavy metal, maybe to go back and re-listen to albums that you maybe forgot about or bands that you forgot about. And for all you new guys out there, young, well, men and women that are maybe new to the hard rock, heavy metal world, gives you a chance to kind of give you a taste of who's been around for quite a while and who's all around, that maybe you will want to check out for yourself and see who you like and who you want to follow, so. But anyway, I've really been enjoying this tonight, guys. Thank you for being a part of this. Have a safe St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, and I hope you've had a great St. Patrick's Day weekend. And thank you again for being here. Hope you had a great drink and great smoke tonight. And again, let me know if you had troubles with the cigar or if it was better for you. But other than all the relights, the cigar wrapper has been really, really beautiful. Great construction. The cigar burns have been pretty well. It's built up some nice ash along the way, and it pairs great with this Guinness beer with coffee in it. So anyway, but it's been a pleasure being with you guys tonight. I'll see you guys soon in my other podcast, Dropping the Ash podcast. And then, of course, I'll try to get up another Harper Cigar Lounge podcast within the next couple weeks, hopefully. And then again, I'll do another one in April, and then I'll try to get another one in May. And then, like I said, I'll probably end the Harper Cigar Lounge season 2 until the upcoming September of this year. But in between that, I'll continue on with the other podcast, which is, again, Dropping the Ash podcast. But check out Harper Cigar Lounge group page on Facebook. Join that. It's free. I mean, it's for the public. It's not private, so you can get right on and join it immediately. And if you guys are out there wanting to post anything with cigars or hard rock, heavy metal, you are free to do that. Just keep it appropriate for other people. There's younger generations that may be on that group page looking at the hard rock, heavy metal stuff, as well as learning about cigars. But just keep it appropriate for everybody. And then check out my YouTube channel under Harper Cigar Lounge, where you'll find these podcasts as well as the Dropping the Ash podcast. So leave your likes, join my YouTube channel, join my group page under Harper Cigar Lounge. Leave your likes, your feedback. Please share the content with others out there and everything. So, but thank you for all your support, guys. Thanks for being here tonight. I will let you know how this ends up, or turns out in the end. There's not much left. I'm in the final third of it, so we'll see what it does. But anyway, guys, thank you for your time tonight, for hanging out with me, and have a safe St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. And keep my mom in your prayers. And Mom, this is dedicated to you tonight. And get better, keep healing, and we're all here for you. And I hope this podcast tonight will give you some encouragement. But we love you. You're in our prayers. And I'll probably see you tomorrow at the hospital. And hopefully you'll be released here soon and everything. So, but anyway, love you, Mom. And love all of you guys out there in the cigar community. All of you guys being a part of Harper Cigar Lounge. Thank you for all your support. I wouldn't be here without you guys. And I love each and every one of you, and God bless you. And hello to my buddies over there, Cigar Junkies in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Check those guys out too on YouTube, on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Gosh, there's so many platforms they're on. So check the Cigar Junkies out. Join their group. Share their content. Give them your feedback, your thumbs up, your likes, and everything too. So great bunch of guys over there. And then Daniel over there in Pittsburgh, hello to you, brother. And hope you're doing well. I'll get in touch with you hopefully tomorrow and say hi to you. So, and anyway, hopefully I'll catch the podcast with the Cigar Junkies tomorrow. Hopefully I'll catch that. It'll depend on what goes on with my mom tomorrow. But anyway, guys, God bless. Keep rocking, keep smoking. If you're drinking, please be safe out there. But cheers to you guys. And again, keep rocking, keep smoking, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.